today's episode, part 2 of the 92 Project Firebird, I'm working on the headlights. When I got this car, neither of the headlights would pop up, which is a pretty common problem that you'll see on any of the 3rd gen Firebirds. The 85 to 92 has a particular issue, 87 to 92 has a particular issue with some, they're called pellets, and they are basically these little pieces of plastic that for whatever reason GM decided to cheap out on. And so once those pellets disintegrate inside the motor, the headlights no longer go up. Luckily, this is a very cheap and easy fix. It's about a $7 fix if you buy the parts off of Amazon or eBay. I got mine from eBay. So here I'm taking the headlights out of the car because it's much easier to work on the motors with the headlights out. There's not much to it. You've got to take the plastic off of the headlight cover, and then you take the top cover off, which is 4 more bolts, and then there's 4 bolts holding the headlight mechanism in, and you unplug the motor. Not a big deal for me. My motors were already unplugged because the previous owner didn't want to deal with them. He was just manually raising and lowering them. So anyway, for whatever reason the audio wasn't working on these next couple of clips. So instead of just trashing that, I figured I would do the voiceover and kind of tell you what I'm doing, and hopefully this all makes sense. Here I have the headlight motor sitting on the workbench, and I am taking the 3 bolts that hold it to the bracket off. Now I'm just popping this arm off. The arm is what actuates from the motor to the headlight to raise it and lower it. It can be a little tricky to get this arm off. You can see I'm using a couple of different trim tools, and I think I end up just popping it off just right there. So now that I've got the motor pulled out, I'm going to lay that on the workbench. One thing I will caution you about, the only real tricky part of this is there are 3 motor bolts not that one, that's just for the arm, I'm taking that off. There's 3 bolts, they're tiny, that hold the housing on the motor, and they are very prone to breaking. And by breaking, I mean just snapping off and leaving part of them in the motor. For whatever reason, they decided to use, I think they're aluminum screws going into a steel housing, or vice versa, I can't remember. In the first motor, I was lucky. I only broke 1. In the second motor, I broke all 3. So what you have to do is drill those out and use another longer bolt as a through bolt. Now that I have the cover off, I can pull out my pellets. I'm going to pull this motor out and you'll be able to see pretty clearly exactly what the issue is. Just use a pair of pliers to pull this out. It's not really a big deal, but you can see some of the gunk that just fell out of the motor. There's stuff in the housing. It's actually really weird. But when you go ahead and separate this, you can see that is what's left of the pellets that are supposed to be in there that are locking the gear in place. And so that's why the headlights don't work. So there's what they look like from the eBay seller. I'm going to clean this up with some good old-fashioned elbow grease. I think that's a screwdriver. I took a screwdriver and just kind of scraped all the old stuff out. I put some lithium grease in there and repacked it a little bit, and then put it back together, and they work like new. Okay, here's an update. This is all back in, ready to turn. I've greased everything. It's all packed with grease. Should be good there. The last thing I need to do is go ahead and put the cover on, and so we're going to put that cover on, make sure we seat that, And then these screws can go through. And once I put all these screws through, I'm gonna put some Loctite on them and we should be good. Okay, that's buttoned up. All we gotta do is reattach it to the frame, put it back in. So I will do that real quick and I will hopefully be showing you a working headlight. Okay, I have the bucket fitted loosely in the car. Everything's snug enough. I'll need to realign everything. I'm gonna plug this in. It may not do anything till I hit the switch. So all right, it's plugged in. Let me go in the car and see if we get any movement. And there we go, one motor. Pretty much all I have to do now is do that to the other motor. Same exact process. It took me probably 35, 40 minutes total to do the one motor, and mainly that's because that bolt broke and I had to drill it out, and you know, that's fine. That is literally $3.50 worth of parts to fix that motor. So I'll have $7 in both pieces. I'll link to the eBay seller that I got them from. Fantastic. So I'm super excited about that, and I hope this video helped you. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll have a bunch more content on this car and my 84 coming, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.